for the dark side, so I think of the dark side as representing this idea that I could create an experience that I'm not connected to. So let's use a specific example. So, like the men who stare at goats. There seems to be a very common idea that as I reach a level 1 or level 2 or level 3 Jedi, that I can exert control on something outside of me. Like if I concentrate hard enough, I could kill a goat. I could actually tell a goat, no, you're not going to beat your heart. You're not going to breathe your lungs. You're not going to stand there. You're not going to do all those things. And I can make it so. Now, is that true? Yes, it is true. So what's the dark side? The dark side is saying that in doing that, I'm not connected to that, and therefore I'm not experiencing that, and ultimately, I'm not doing it to myself. I'm doing it to something else. That's it. That's the way I like to look at the dark side. Because what is the dark side? Is the dark side outside of existence? Is it outside of love? Is it outside of energy? No. The dark side is energy too. So how does it fit in? So how do I keep from going from the dark side is what the mind wants to say. Okay, well, let's look at that question. The heart already knows, but as long as the mind seems to be asking, let's do it. Let's answer it. Or let's come up with something in which there's no longer a fear. There's no longer a doubt. How do I see this? How do I truly accept that this is possible? That this is truth? That this is reality? That I can do anything I want and I'm doing it to myself. So to me, when I think of the dark side is simply a belief. It's a concept. It's an idea. It's an idea that I can create an experience, and that can be any experience I want, or actually phenomena, let's say, but it includes an experience. But that I can create a phenomena, and it can be anything. I could create a tidal wave. I could create a volcano erupting. I could create whatever I want, whenever I want. Okay, this much, yes, absolutely. So what's the difference between the dark side and the light side? To me, I would give the phrase dark side the meaning that this idea I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, without it happening to me, or without me experiencing this phenomena which results in an experience outside of myself. So it seems like there's phenomena going on, and an experience is that. It's the being of that. So it includes more than just the phenomenon that the body can perceive with the 5 senses. So to me, I assign the phrase the light side, or a Jedi Master, whatever, as the same exact thing and different. I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, absolutely, yes. And whatever I do to myself. I am experiencing that phenomena. When I choose to cut, if I choose to cut another body, kill another body, do something to another body, I'm actually doing it to myself. And it's interesting because that's another way that I look at the word fear. When I feel into fear, Fear is actually the motivation for the dark side, quote unquote, because fear is saying that exact message. I want to do whatever I want, whenever I want, and I don't want to feel it. I'm this body here, and I'm separate from all these other bodies, all these plants, all these planets, all these other species, whatever words, labels, ideas, beliefs, descriptions, boxes, containers I can come up with. I am this, and that is that. And I want to do whatever I want, whenever I want, and I don't want it to happen to this. I only want it to happen to that. To me, that's what I think of as fear, and that's what I think of as the dark side, as feeding that. And the funny thing is because it's all energy, the energy doesn't know the difference between want and don't want. If I think that I'm not doing something because I don't want it to happen, what I'm actually saying continually over and over and over and reinforcing is, I want that to happen. And so it seems to build. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Well, that's the same thing as saying, I want to die. I want to die. I want to die. And since we are everything, and we can do whatever we want, whenever we want, of course we could create that experience for ourselves. And it can be intense. It is intense because we are intense, because everything is intense. Because energy is intense. It can also be what's considered the opposite of intense, because it's all just ideas. So for so long, I've been reinforcing the fear, not realizing what the fear really was. I thought the fear was helpful. Was it helpful? Yes. Is it helpful now? Yes. Was it helpful then? No. Is it helpful now? No. It's both. What do I want it to be for? So I say thank you. It has served. Because it is me. I can't not be fear any more than I can't not be death. Like the whole negative and double negative and all that, it's like, at what point does a negative get canceled out by a double negative and then become a negative when it becomes a triple negative? It's like, this is like yin and yang. When does yin become yang and yang becomes yin? It may appear like there's a transition from one to the other, but it's really just a continual spectrum. It's a constant movement. It's a constant expansion, a constant giving. Whatever word is used to describe this phenomena that's always happening. And so that's why it literally is, ask and you shall receive. I've been asking for the experience of what it's like to do whatever I want, whenever I want, and not be a part of it. Literally. And, okay, thank you for the ability to be able to do that. Wow. And now I say that all I want, it's funny because it's like, I want to be free of all desire. Well, who wants to be free? And what is desire? Isn't even the statement, I want to be free of all desire, a desire? Yes and no. It's like, yeah, so I say in this moment that thank you for everything that is, everything that's ever happened, whether I think it's this lifetime, past lifetimes, it doesn't matter. Because it's for this moment right here. Not those other moments that have passed or moments to come or anything. It's this moment. I am saying thank you. And I want the experience. It's funny to say I want, because it's like, who wants it? Yeah. And as long as I choose, as long as the energy is communicating to itself in words, then it sounds like I want and I choose to do whatever I want, whenever I want, and I want to feel all of it. So now I is no longer a body. It's no longer a person named Ben or Mimsy or Sunyambai or anything like that. The I no longer becomes a symbol of being separate. This is now an I of everything. This is I am everything. And I want everything. And I want it now. I can just see Chocolate Factory. Who was that said that? I want it now. Oh, it was Veruca Salt. She's talking to her dad who runs the peanut factory, and she wants the golden ticket. And he has all his workers. The whole factory is opening chocolate bars instead of shelling peanuts so they can get this golden ticket. I mean, this is a lot of energy going into this effort. And here is this reflection of the energy itself that's doing all this stuff to find this golden ticket, saying to itself, I want it now. Like somehow it's not okay that the ticket's not there. Like it should be here. Something's gone wrong. I want it now. And it's like, it's funny because I can hear this thought of, yeah, because it's arrogant. It's arrogant to say I want it all and I want it now. Well, couldn't it also be said that it's arrogance to say, oh, I'm this little body. I'm separate from all these bodies, all these plants, all these everything that share in the same exact creative cycle that I am. But no, I'm separate from them because of whatever. The skin is different, or the hair is different, or the eyes, or the height, or the weight, or the nationality, or the beliefs on sex, or gender preference, or, you know, seems like I could come up with an infinite number of ways to say, well, no, it's not me. Look, I've got proof. So now I becomes a symbol of separation, and I want it now, and I want it all, seems to have this experience, this feeling, this energy that has now been given the word arrogance. I want it all, and I want it now, and I don't care about anything else. As opposed to, yeah, I want it all, and I want it now. And the cool thing is all the reflections of myself get to say the exact same thing. I want it all, I want it now. It's awesome. Because it's not the words, it's the energy, it's the feeling, the phenomena, the experience, whatever word is given to it, it's a word. It doesn't matter. I could call it, heck, I could call it hell on earth if I wanted. It wouldn't matter. Because it's the experience. I could call it heaven on earth if I wanted. It wouldn't matter. It's the experience. And that's like, to me, what the word darshan is. It's not about words. It's like we as everything can feel everything when we choose to feel everything. So when I choose to be around reflections of myself called bodies or people or persons or whatever, they're just reflections. When I choose to be around them, I can feel everything. So if you're telling me that you love me and you really don't, because you don't see me as you see me as something other than you, as separate from you, and therefore whatever comes from that, greed, hate, anger, whatever, all from this belief that I'm not you, I can feel that. So the words are like the last expression, the last manifestation of this energy, let's call it. And vice versa. You could be saying you hate me, and yet if you've given the experience of this energy, when it's called love usually, to the word hate, then you're going to be exuding that energy even though you're using the word hate. It's like tomato, tomato. It doesn't matter if I say tomato and you say tomato. It's what is the word? The word is meant to symbolize something. So what is it symbolizing? And if we agree on what it's symbolizing, then it doesn't matter if we choose to use different symbols. So it's like, what is hate? What is fear? What is death? If I choose to think of those things as being outside of me, then I will get the experience of that feeling. And the interesting thing is there's actually a desire to have that experience. that's what time seems to be, is this desire to keep playing out. Hey, what if I could do anything I wanted, whenever I wanted, and not feel it, and not be it? What would that be like? Wow, it's actually a bit of a rush. It's like what I feel the character Silas was portraying in the series Heroes in episode 3, or in season 3. He was talking about how his ability, which seems to be the ability to take on all other abilities, so it seems to be limitless, is like a hunger. And what he noticed was he couldn't control the hunger. The hunger was controlling him. And when he thought that he wasn't the hunger itself and that the hunger could control him, he would go out and do these things like killing and taking abilities and imprisoning and whatever else. These actions seem to be going on, and they're given those words of killing and imprisoning and things like that. And so in season 3, he comes to the point of he's done with that. He acknowledges that there has been a desire for that, so it's not that it's been done to him. He's been choosing to do it, so it is his choice. He's taking the power and, in some respects, depending upon how the word is used, responsibility. Yes, he's choosing to say, I am all of this. So everything I think, everything I say, everything I do, this is a constant cycle, or this is a constant movement that's always happening. So I have wanted to feel that hunger and feel that I'm not that hunger, and feel that that hunger can drive me and I can be pulled by this hunger as though I'm a victim of this hunger, or I'm dependent upon this hunger, or I'm a slave to this hunger, or whatever. And then the actions that seem to result from that. The body, pointing a finger and slicing open the other body's head and taking an ability, whatever it looks like, it doesn't matter. The form is the manifestation or the last expression of something that is already happening. And it's happening at the same time. It's just as long as there appears to be time, it's the last thing that happens. And so it's like an acknowledging that I have wanted to experience fear. I have wanted to experience death. I have wanted to die over and over and over. I wanted to do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, without being it, without being connected to it, without experiencing it. And so now I make the choice to say, I want everything, and I want it now, absolutely. And I realize that in saying I, that it's happening to me, that I'm doing it to myself. I can tell myself that my body is seeing another body, and it's happening to another body, whether it's human or animal or other species or whatever. Sure, I can do that, and I've done that, and I've enjoyed doing that. That's why I've done it. And now I enjoy saying, hey, this is me. What do I want? Well, I like clarity. I like being really clear with words, as clear as possible, because words are just symbols. So as long as two reflections can come up with different meanings for a symbol, then what is clarity? Well, clarity is a willingness to allow the words to express something quote-unquote deeper. A willingness to allow the words to convey an energy, let's say. And the more I realize when the energy, when there is a choice to use words that don't match the energy or don't convey or haven't traditionally been used to symbolize the energy it is that I want to convey, well, that to me would be the opposite of clarity. That would be confusion. That would be distortion, muddlement, all these things. So I want clarity in language, which to me is to say that I want the words that are coming out to as closely match the energy, and if and when I encounter a reflection of myself that chooses to use a different meaning for those symbols, those words, then to me clarity also includes the willingness to exchange that, to say, hey, this is how I see the word clarity, this is how I see the word fear, this is how I see the word love, this is all of that, and then allowing myself to do the same without needing to judge the reflection of myself that's doing that, including when it appears to be different. And so I want acceptance. I want compassion. I want love. I want clarity. I want happiness. I want joy. I want all these things. So how do I get them? Well, I can't really get them if I already am them. So as long as there even seems to be a question of how do I get them, then what's the next stepping stone to being that? It's that. It's being that. If I want acceptance, I am here to give acceptance because I'm giving it to myself. I'm not giving it to someone else and somehow I'm giving them this valuable gift of acceptance because I know how valuable acceptance is, but that I can't share in it. No, not at all. That's been the way that the word giving has been used for what appears to be a long, long time. So it's like, I love this feeling, let's say, of this embodiment of acceptance. So I choose to embody that, to be that, and get to experience that I'm actually giving it to myself all the time, whether it looks like this body is by itself or not. And it becomes like a constantly generating acceptance machine or a constantly generating love machine, basically. and that's the natural law. If there could be any law whatsoever, that is the natural law. The thing that is everything, I'll use the word energy for now. The energy always wants to feel itself. Well, it already is itself, so it feels itself, so how could it not feel itself? Well, okay, let's say that it could. Let's say that it could feel itself. Well, how would it feel itself? Well, it would feel itself by extending itself, by giving itself. Because then it could actually experience that it's giving it to itself, rather than being separate from it. And as that experience happens, it solidifies what it already knows to be true, that it is that it is all. So in the giving, it is giving itself, and it no longer is an intellectual idea, or just an intellectual idea, or words, or mental gymnastics, or anything like that. That's when it becomes the universal experience that we all are, the universal experience that is continually going on. And guess what? As part of that experience can be a choice to say, there's an I here, and this I is not part of that experience. That's part of the experience. And so as long as there's ever a question of, I don't want this anymore, how can it be different? Or, yeah, that's really the crux of it. Oh, I look like I'm homeless right now, and I don't want to be homeless. Okay, so in those statements seems to be a disconnect between the idea of I am everything and I have everything, because if I am everything and I have everything, then what's a home and how can I be homeless? How can I be without? If less means without, how can I be without? If I am everything, I have everything. So there seems to be a disconnect between what it is I think I'm experiencing as being homeless and without, and what it is I'm reading and hearing and even watching in some reflection, some other bodies. They don't seem to match up. So it's like as long as there's even a question, that's an invitation. An invitation to say, who am I? Really? Who is it that wants this? Who is it that could be homeless? And who is it that thinks that having a home is somehow better than not having a home? Well, it would be the same one that thinks it can die. Because what's a home for? Well, it can be for many things. It can be for shelter, so that other bodies can't come and take this body away. Or whatever. It can be used for anything, really. It's like in Inception. It's like, is home really a physical building that's being created? Or is it this concept of something that's inside of us, which is always there because we are everything, so inside is everywhere? So is that the home? And if that's the home, then what treasure is in the home? And is that treasure such that if it's given away, it will be lost? Or is that treasure such that when it's given away, it actually feels like it increases? Now, what is increasing if it's everything? How can everything increase? Okay, so let's set that aside. It feels like there can be an increasing. So everything itself, the concept of creating or extending or increasing is laughable. I mean, it really is. And yet I seem to want that. So as long as there's an I, how does this idea, these words, this thing become my reality? How does it become my experience until it is my experience and I'm no longer asking the question, I don't want this, or I want this. Okay, I want this. I want to travel the world. Now, am I going to travel the world? Yes and no. Am I going to do it physically or mentally? Yes and no. Both. It's always both. So it's like, yes, I will, and and I will love it when I'm doing it and when I don't think I'm doing it. So I want to travel the world. Yes, thank you. Happy, thank you more, please. And when I think I'm sitting here in this room and I'm not traveling the world physically, awesome. Why not? Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team. I mean, it's like, and what's a team? The team is myself. It's not a team that I'm competing against. There's going to be a winner and a loser at the end of this all. You better make sure you come out on the winner's side, because this thing, if you get to the winner's side, you get heaven. And this heaven, it's awesome. Everything you've ever wanted, it's there. But you come out on the loser's side, you get to go to this thing called hell. And this thing called hell, everything you didn't want, that's what you get. So do everything you can to come out a winner, not a loser. And everyone else, they're competing for the same thing. So don't let them win. And it's like, what? Okay, cool. The race has begun. Boom, 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 boom. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Oh, no, you want to do that? Forget about it. It's mine. It ain't happening. It's like, what? What is that? Instead of, oh, you want that too? Cool. Hey, you want to do it together? Awesome. Oh, you don't? Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to go do this. Awesome. See you later. It's like, oh, it's the greatest gift ever. It's freaking awesome. And as Poe said, there's no charge for awesomeness. This life wasn't earned, it was given. I didn't work and save up a bunch of money and say, oh, hey God, I'm ready to buy life now. I've saved up enough money. I'm ready to go. Okay, I get to go play this game. And then I pay all my money or whatever it is that I've exchanged in return for this life. And I'm like, this ain't worth it. I want my money back. Man, you screwed me. You made it seem like it was going to be this really awesome experience, like worth more than anything that I could ever give you. And it's the exact opposite. Like, what is this crap? I mean, that's literally like been the experience. So now, how about saying, instead of, oh, I earned this life, and now this life is a burden because I have to do all these things, it's like, how about I am life? I am love. I am joy. And so, how can I not be and have what it is I want? And how can anything or one be left out of that? So, since that's the case, I want to give. I want to share. And I see you doing the same thing, and it's like, oh, cool. Hey, guess what? I got this gift. Well, you got a gift too? Really? Oh, well, here's mine. Oh, here's mine. Oh, it's the same. All right, cool. Oh, it's different. All right, cool. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's like, I got a gift. I want to give a gift. And so it's like life is a big party. Showing up to a party with a gift to give. And in the giving, it never goes away. An unending supply. That's the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Give, and there's still a full pot. Give, there's still a full pot. That's eternity. Giving and always having a full pot is eternity. And yeah, it's like, whoa, that becomes, now this party has turned into a lovemaking session. And it turns into this constant orgasm. It's like, whoa, really? Whoa, yeah, oh my God, this is awesome. This is so freaking cool. Yeah, I mean, this is like, wow. It could only not be an orgasm. It could only not be lovemaking if I'm like, no, not that. Anything but that. Oh, this is cool. Yeah. No, not that. Oh, you got a gift? Cool. You got a gift? Cool. You got a gift? Cool. Accept a million gifts from people, and then all of a sudden someone comes along with a gift, and I'm like, no, not that. Like, that would be the same thing as me being the person that just got, quote-unquote, rejected. I'm constantly giving my gift. And as people say, oh, this is awesome, this is awesome, this is awesome, it builds. Now, it actually has nothing to do with the people saying it's awesome. It's myself saying, yeah, cool. So when myself comes along and says, no, not that, ew, that's a gift? What are you talking about? I don't want that. That's separation. That's fear. That's the dark side. That's evil. That's all these things. Those are just words. Those are just phrases to try to describe this thing that we all share in. And it's not bad because it can never destroy the pot of gold. No matter how many times a bomb goes off, no matter how many bodies seem to come and go, the pot of gold cannot be destroyed. So then there becomes an acceptance, an allowance, a saying, oh, yeah, I've played that experience before. Yeah, I wanted everything when I wanted it, and I didn't want to feel it, and I thought that I was separate, and I wanted to be the winner. I've done that. Wow. Yeah, cool. Okay. And that's it. And it's like, I'm choosing to say, I want the experience of, oh, that, even that, yeah? Oh, okay, cool. That can't destroy the pot of gold? Really? Well, I didn't think so. All right, cool, awesome. It's like, everything is awesome. And yeah, it's awesome. I love this party now. I love this game. It's like, it seems like this word abuse or evil or violence or anything, hatred, guilt, whatever, it's all, to me, I see it all as this idea of rejecting a gift. It's like I show up at a party and I say, hey, I got this gift, I got to give, and someone says, no, I don't want that. Well, hey, if I didn't know I was eternal and infinite, that would hurt. That would hurt really bad. But hey, I'm eternal. Okay, cool. Hey, guess what? I got this gift. Ew, no, I don't want that. Okay, cool. All right. Hey, guess what? I got this gift. No, I don't want that. Okay. All right, cool. Hey, guess what? I got this gift. Hey, you don't want it either? Okay. All right. Hey, yeah, I got this. Until the point of like I don't even want to offer the gift anymore. It seems like it's been rejected so many times by my whatever. It could be anything. It could be my parents. It could be my siblings. It could be my coworkers. It could be people I call friends. It could be anything. The more and more that I have that experience, and I think that it's possible that I could be rejected, then by something that I'm not, by something that's outside of me, then yeah, it seems to be a natural reaction to be like, okay, I'm just not going to offer my gift anymore. And to the point of where I decide to leave the party. To me, that's what suicide is. And I've done that. I mean, I've taken steps both in this lifetime, and it's funny because what are multiple lifetimes? It's all one lifetime, and it's all happening right now. But it's like, as long as there's this concept of lifetimes and time, I know I've done it in lifetimes. How could I have not? I'm choosing death in every moment. So whether I'm choosing it physically with the body and picking up a knife or a gun or whatever else and killing the body, or choosing the death of the body, that's no different than the experience of saying, hey, I want what I want, when I want it, and I'm not part of what happens. I only get this. That's death. So, yes, I've been committing suicide in so many different ways for what appears to be a very long time. And now it's like, oh, so it's like what has been being said forever, what Buddha and Jesus and St. Francis and everyone have been saying. There is no death. How can there be death? If there could be death, if death is the absence of something, then that would almost imply that it's left. Well, how can something leave if it's everything? How can something leave its source and not be it? Like, it starts to fall up. The words start to fall apart, because then it doesn't make any sense. And so, as long as that's the foundation, the belief that I can be rejected, that I can show up to a party and offer a gift and be rejected, is saying that there's something outside of me that's getting this. And it matters whether or not that something wants what I'm offering. And if they don't want it, then I'm just not going to offer it. Or I'm going to offer it more and more and more, and more sternly. It's like, no, you will take my gift. You don't want, no, you will take my, it's like, there's a either running to wanting to give this gift, which is just the same as saying they don't have this gift and they're not me, or there's a running away from wanting to give this gift because there's a thought of, oh, well, they're not me and they don't want what I have, and so it's just safer, because if I continue to offer this gift, I won't be here anymore. I will be dead. I will leave somehow. I will check out. I can no longer be here. And so it's like choosing to see the party not as how much rejection can I take before I decide to leave the party and quote-unquote kill myself. It's how many reflections do I need telling me that I am you and you are me before I accept it. That's it. That's all that's ever going on. An invitation. In every form, in every way, it's always an invitation. Even if the mind is saying, oh, but that reflection is coming from fear, that reflection is coming from separation. Who's saying that? Who is that reflection? And how can that reflection be coming from fear? Well, as long as there's a belief that there's separateness, there's that reflection and this reflection, then it is. The experience seems to be that that is true. There is that person over there that's coming from fear, and there's that person over there that's coming from love. And yet, that's an invitation. That is also an invitation to see that, to be like, oh, it's possible for something outside of me to be coming from fear. Well, who's seeing the fear? Who's categorizing as fear? Who's labeling it as fear? What is fear? Hence, back to the choice to want to have everything now and yet not have it affect me, not be part of the experience, like be separate. Have this thing go on, but be separate from it. That'd be like saying, hey, I want to watch you, but you can't know that I'm watching you. Okay, well, if we're talking about bodies and we're in the same room together and you open your eyes, then you know that I'm watching you, like based on the words body and watch and room and all that other stuff. You know that I'm watching you. So how do I watch you without watching you? And there's been many creative ways to try and solve that problem. Well, it's not really a problem, and it's like the solution is the problem, and the problem is the solution. It's like seeing that there is no solution results in seeing that there is no problem. So what do? Be. And that's the beauty. This thing called I, as long as words like I are being used, I can't tell you what to do with your life. I can be what I want to be, and in doing that, as long as it looks like there's others, I seem to become a demonstration of that. And as a demonstration, it could be seen as an invitation, and it's definitely an invitation. And yet, it's not an invitation because there's no investment. It's like, I don't need you to accept. Again, who is I and who is you? But it's like, okay, so you want to play this game, you want to show up at the party and wear a different costume, or you want to give a different gift, or you want to even like play at the party in a very different way than I do, or what I think is different? Awesome. Cool. That's great. Let's do it. That's a party. So the idea that I can or should or would tell you what to do, no. I'm just talking because I love this, because I'm talking to myself, because as I talk, it's my experience, because I am that, because I'm being that. That's the only reason to talk. That's the only reason to do anything, is to be it, to enjoy it, to, yeah, all of that. And so yeah, I choose to show up at the party. I choose to offer this gift to myself, and I know that acceptance is all there is. It's all there can be. It's the natural law. It's the Holy Grail. It's the gift of eternal life, really, because it's always going on. Life is eternal, so that much can't change. It's only a choice to say, I'm not that, because I'm this body, and this body doesn't last forever. Well, is that true? If I want it to be, it is. If I don't, well, where do bodies come from in the first place? Oh, they come from sperm meeting egg and this alchemy that happens. Okay, that's one perspective. Where does sperm come from? Where do eggs come from? And then what's underneath that? Well, a chemist might say, oh, well, we've got molecules making up this substance. And then it could be seen as, oh, molecules are made up of atoms, and then the atoms are made up of what? Photons, quarks, and all this other. And then it's like more and more words and labels and definitions and boxes and containers seem to come in, but the more it comes in, the less it can contain it. Because at what point do we get to the bottom of it all? At what point is it now like the simplest thing? Isn't that what an atom was supposed to be? I thought when I studied chemistry, an atom was supposed to be that. And then an atom got broken down. Electrons, protons, quarks and photons and all this stuff, and particles and waves. And yeah, it's like, okay, great. But what's the one thing underneath it all? Like what's a photon made of? What's an electron made of? Oh, well, it's this wave of energy, and it results in this, and it's got a negative or a positive, and it interacts with this in this way, and when these two come together, it does this, and when they go apart, and it's like I could come up with words and labels and descriptions and all this until I don't want to do it anymore. I can do it as long as I want to do it, and then when I don't want to do it anymore, I don't do it anymore. And so it's like the invitation is that thing. That thing is always inviting itself to remember that thing. And because it is that thing, it can't forget. And as long as there seems to be an experience that there can be a forgetting, there's always a reminder. There's always an invitation, because the answer is always there. Because there really is no problem that needs to be solved. There really is no question that needs to be answered. And so I choose to really take that universal law and apply it everywhere. I didn't pay for this life. I didn't pay for this experience. I didn't pay for this quote-unquote knowledge. I didn't earn or pay for any of this. And yet I've got it. I am it. It's here. So what do I do with it? I give it. And it's not just words. If it's a free hugs t-shirt, I give it. Now, how did the shirt come about? Didn't the shirt cost money? Well, what's money? Okay, in this time, money could be anything. It could be little strips of green paper, little metal discs. It could be little rectangular pieces of plastic. It could be numbers on a computer screen in a bank account. It's like, it could be Bitcoin. I mean, it's like, what is money? What is getting exchanged? Well, it's that one thing that's underneath everything. I call it energy. Or it's coming out as the word energy right now. And so yes, it looks like there's an I printing shirts. There's a Ben Cohen printing these t-shirts with these purple hearts on both sides that say free hugs and a smiley face. And now they're getting tie-dyed with all this color. Yes, this appears to be going on. And as part of that, there appears to be money sent to Vistaprint. Vistaprint prints these things called t-shirts made up of this thing called cotton. And there's this design on it and all this. And so I choose to give this shirt away without the need for any money to come back. Well, then how does this cycle keep going? It doesn't seem sustainable. If there's always a money being given to Vistaprint to print a shirt, or whatever company, it's not just Vistaprint, that's what I use, but if there's money being given to something in order to produce something, then doesn't money have to come back to keep that cycle going? Well, the answer is actually yes. It comes from every single direction. If I meet a reflection of myself that says, hey, can I have a free hugs t-shirt? The answer is yes, you can. If they say, hey, can I give you some money? The answer is yes, you can give me some money. It's just not a requirement. If someone says, hey, can I have a free hugs t-shirt? And I say yes, and they walk away, hey, cool, awesome. I got to give myself a gift. Cool. And it's that joy, it's that experience, it's that thing that can't be contained by a word that happens that results in it happening again. So even though it may look like that person, that reflection that received the shirt didn't give me any money, and even though it seems like there seems to be money that's needed to keep this cycle going, then the money will be there, as long as it's always for the purpose of giving. And giving is just joy. So joy is just being. And so I always have everything I need when I decide I want to do something. When I decide I want to print a free hugs. I was thinking, I saw a video of people hugging in this square, holding up a sign that said free hugs. And I could just feel like that's what I want to do. I want to go around and be an invitation to hug. Not everyone will choose to accept that invitation, but it doesn't matter. It's myself. I'm offering myself something. If I say, hey, I'm not into that right now, okay. If I say, hey, I want that, yeah, awesome, okay. So I decide, I see this video, there's this thing called I that sees this thing called a video and decides it wants to go out and do the same thing, only it seems a lot of energy to always have to think about having a sign and carrying the sign around and then what to do with the sign. It's like, well, how about a sign that's always with me? So a t-shirt. Well, how about a sign that's always with me? The body. So now I wear this shirt that says free hugs as an invitation for anyone who wants to hug. I will give a hug to everyone. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be paid for. You don't earn it. None of that. And I will always do that because I'm always giving myself that gift. And so the shirt seems to always be there, or most of the time. That's why I choose to wear that, and almost nothing else. Every once in a while I choose to wear, like I wore that shirt, at the wedding. I wore a different shirt at the wedding. And it wasn't because I had to. It was because I felt to. Because a reflection of myself said, hey, would you consider wearing something else? I was like, yeah, I felt joy. I felt happy. I felt energy around it. It's like, yeah, that's why I do it. Not because I have to do it. A reflection of myself said, hey, what do you think about wearing something else today? And I don't feel that same thing. I don't feel that joy, that energy, that happiness. Then I get to honor that and say, no, I'm not feeling that. I feel to wear this. I feel to continue wearing this shirt. Well, what is there that's always with me beyond the shirt? Well, the body. So now the body becomes an invitation. So it's always this constant invitation. So it's really not that money is necessary to keep things going. Money is just a symbol. It may look like in this time and this way that we're choosing to play this out, that money is the key thing that keeps this cycle of giving and receiving going. If I want to give a shirt, then I have to give Vistaprint money, and they'll give me a shirt. And then if I give a shirt to someone else, quote unquote, then either they need to give me money so that I can keep this cycle going, or if they don't, the cycle stops. Or money has to come in from some other source. Well, how about replacing the word money with energy? And how about not deciding right here and right now on a certain amount of energy, a certain characteristic of energy that has to be exchanged? So instead of saying, okay, if I'm going to give a shirt, or I'm going to give a hug, or I'm going to give a massage, that in response, the energy has to come back in this way. Like, if I'm going to give a hug, then either the person has to want to hug someone else, or they have to want to say something nice, or whatever. Or if I want to give a t-shirt, that they have to give me money, or they have to give me some goods and services that they create, or anything like that. And so how about saying that, yes, there is a vital key, a vital ingredient that keeps this cycle of life going. Now, while pondering this really awesome question, I like to remind myself that it's not possible that this key ingredient could ever go away. So that there's then a freedom to play with life, to experiment with life. And that's what I do. It's like, okay, I'm looking at this belief in the mind that that's not true, that somehow something could go wrong and this cycle of life could end, or that this thing that's needed to keep this cycle of life going will somehow not be there, okay? And yet I'm also willing to honor this thing that I feel, which is telling me, take the leap. That's not the case. That will be your experience as long as you choose to experience it. And when you choose not to experience it, you won't. So it's not the case. So let me rest on this foundation of eternity and limitlessness and innocence and love and everything else. And as long as there seems to be anything that I don't think fits in the box of that, then let me experience it, for the sole purpose of being an invitation to say, okay, do you want this experience, or do you want what you just said was in a box? Do you want that love? Do you want that peace? Do you want that happiness? Do you want that key ingredient, or do you want to continue playing this game that says that key ingredient may go away, or this game could end because the key ingredient won't be there? In any given moment, that is what free will is. That's what I get to choose. Do I want to give in to the thoughts telling me this is the way it has to be, or do I want to give in to this feeling, this thing, this energy that's saying, jump, play, have fun, take a leap? You might be surprised at what really happens. You might get everything you ever wanted now. So then life becomes an experiment of, oh, okay, well, there seems to be a lot of reflection saying, no, there has to be reciprocity. You have to charge money for your shirts, or they have to give you maybe some fruits, or they have to maybe do something for you. There has to be this exchange of energy, because you've already decided that energy is the key ingredient to keeping this cycle going. And there are lots of reflections that say that this thing called money is the energy. So there seems to be billions of reflections that it has to be decided that if I want to give, that there has to be a reciprocity of something, in this case, call it energy, and it's not okay to decide that in the moment. It has to be decided right now. So set a price. Oh, you don't want to set a price? Fine. Set a sliding scale. Oh, you don't want to do that? Okay, fine. Make it by donation. Let people decide what they want to give, but they have to give. Don't give it if they don't make a donation. It's by donation. I'm giving freely by donation. What does that mean? By donation. Now, isn't the donation somehow inherently tied into the giving?
Isn't it now a contract or an agreement that, okay, I'll give this to you. I'm not going to tell you how much you need to give or how you need to give. I'm not even going to tell you when you have to give, but you have to give. And it has to go to me. Don't give it to someone else. It has to go to me. Or, okay, yeah, well, maybe you can give it to someone else, but you have to promise me right here and now that you're going to give or I won't give it to you. Is that what life is? If God is used to describe this thing called the source of all life, and God said to me, oh, okay, Ben, whoever you want to call yourself, this thing, it's funny to talk about, but God said to me, hey, okay, I got this cool thing. It's awesome. I'm not even going to tell you exactly what it is. Trust me, you want it more than anything. Okay? Now, if I give this to you, you have to promise right here and now that you will do something in return. You will do something for someone else. You will do it for me. You will do something in return. If you don't agree right here and now, get out. Get out of eternity. Get out of limitlessness. Get out of all of that. Forget it. You're not worthy. And it's like, okay, fine. Forget you, God. I'm out of here. And now I'm all separate. Or it's like, okay, fine. I'll go. And now I've got this overriding feel of guilt or shame, like, oh my God, I feel like I got this thing I want to give, but I made this agreement that I will, like, it's got to be reciprocity. Like, it was reciprocity that I got to come here, so now it's got to be reciprocity to keep it going. And if it doesn't happen, it's going to all fall apart. It's all just going to stop. Well, what is reciprocity? If everything is connected, then everything is already reciprocal. One movement in one area of time and or space has to affect all other areas of time and space. It can't not affect all areas of time and space. So if reciprocity is the key to life, or is the key to the energy, which is the key to the cycle of creation of life, then yes, everything is reciprocal. Great, cool, done. Fulfillment required. Requirement fulfilled. Great. Awesome. Now, how about that and saying that I'm actually giving to myself by saying, hey, I've got this shirt. I want to give it to you. Hey, no strings attached. Oh, you want to give me some? Okay, great. You don't? Okay, great. Absolutely no strings attached. Okay with whatever is. Total unconditional acceptance. It's like saying, hey, cool. You want this? Awesome. You don't want it? Awesome. Doesn't really matter. I want to give. Well, I'm giving to myself, so I've fulfilled the requirement of reciprocity. Because I'm not giving to something outside of me. I'm giving to myself. Great. So it's done. That's how the natural law works. That's giving and receiving. That's asking, you shall receive. What it is I'm asking for, I want to give it completely. And as long as there's any thought or any inclination or anything of, oh, I'm going to give completely in order so to have everything, it's still, let's say, distorted. It's still muddled. There's still an opportunity for even greater amplitude, even greater giving, in the idea that there could be a greater giving or lesser giving. And so it's like, it's this washing of, I'm doing it for another reason. I'm doing it for reciprocity. I'm doing it for an end result. Even if it seems to be an altruistic result of, okay, I want to give away everything so that I can have everything. Or I want to give away everything so that I can feel happy, or so that that person can feel happy, or whatever. There's still inherent a cause and effect that seem to be separate. I want to do this so that that happens. There's a subject and an object. Does it have to be that way? As long as I choose to experience that, I will. Now, I'm choosing to use this life to say, okay, that's cool, done that, been there, done that. Now, I want to do it this way. I want to give. I want to give shirts. I want to give massage. I want to give talks. I want to give hugs. I want to give kisses. I want to give. Without any condition of it having to be quote-unquote accepted, without any condition of any of the things that I think are receiving things giving back to me, because I am the one receiving that which is being given. So I will give everything, and I know. I've done this experiment for long enough now that I can say I know I am always taken care of. I've been at times in my life with less than $1. I'm still here. As long as I think I'm here, I'm still here. I've had what appears to be the opposite. Maybe not Warren Gates or Warren Buffett or Bill Gates. Yeah, might as well combine them. We're all the same. It's not like Warren Buffett or Bill Gates type end of the spectrum. I didn't choose to make billions and billions and billions, but I had a house. Bought it when I was 20. First one when I was 22. The most I ever decided to charge for any type of service, whether it was computer or massage, was $85 an hour. Could I have gone higher? Absolutely. I just chose not to. I had Harley Davidson motorcycles. I could buy whatever I wanted, basically. Now, did I go out and buy a Lamborghini? No, because I didn't choose to bring in what it seemed like the resources to do that, because I just chose not to. Had I chosen to, I could have. Do I choose it? If I choose it now, I can. And yet, it was never enough. It was never fulfilling. I could just see there was no ceiling on that game. Bill, $85 an hour? How about 100? Okay. How about 200? How about 300? How about 1,000? Yeah. And people pay you $1,000 an hour. Like, you must be really valuable. Like, your time, an hour of your time to be paying $1,000 is like, whoa, man, you must be something special. You must be the bee's knees, man. Like, your flatulence must not have any odor whatsoever. I mean, it's just like, whoa, it's like, no. Okay. Yes, that's part of it. Okay. Now, I choose another experience. So this quote-unquote life is being given as a way to give. So I don't charge for any of those things. I do, if people say they want to give me money, I accept it, yes. That would be arrogance not to. If there is such a thing as arrogance, that could be it as well. If there is such a thing as humility, humility is saying, I do not know where things come from. Or I do know where they come from, and I trust where they come from, and so therefore I don't need to have it be another way. And so if someone offers something, like money or goods or services or time or whatever, energy, then yes, thank you. If someone doesn't seem to be offering that, then yes, thank you. I know and I trust that the source of all that is, the energy, the key to creation, the Holy Grail, the everything that can ever be talked about or described is there. So why not give? Let's say I give shirts, I give massage, I give all these things, and I end up with no money, and I end up with no house. Okay, I've been without a house. I've been without money. I've been without a car. I've been without a lot of things. I've also had those things. I've experienced it both ways, and the whole spectrum in between, if there appears to be a spectrum. I've chosen to experience a lot of different things. And so now I'm choosing to experience something that I haven't in this quote-unquote lifetime. So it's like I've been without the material things, and I'm still here. So what's fear then? What could ever be taken away? So let's say I give and give and give, and I don't have any money, and then I don't have a house, and then I don't have food, and then this body seems to go away tomorrow. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for the gift. This is awesome. Not, oh, but I want more. I want more than a day. I want a year. Oh, well, is that ever enough? No, I want 10 years. No, I want 100 years. No, I want 10 lifetimes. Where does it stop? The wanting, that thing that says, I need more because I'm not it already, is both the quote-unquote problem and the solution. It's like, that's actually the intention or the motivation behind creation. It's just slightly distorted. It's like energy does want to expand, give, whatever. It wants to do all. It wants to move. It's doing all these things. It is it. It is all these things. And so, yeah, it's gonna seem to make houses and build planets and galaxies and whatever else we can dream of or think of or describe. Yeah, it's going to do that. Great. There's nothing wrong with that. Have fun with it. Great. But if there's any desire for it to be different, that and that it's wrong because it's not that, or that somehow I've lost my gift because it's not that. If only it could get back to this, then I can say, oh, I've got my gift again. How can I have my gift and not have my gift if it is everything and it's eternal? It's just, it can't be. So this is like the question that we all get to ask. Who am I? Why am I here? What is here? What's the point? How does it work? All these things. And really accept the answer. And accept it from that voice which appears to be within, not from a voice without that says, oh, well, I've gone to school for 30 years and I've practiced for 30 years and I know what I'm talking about. This is the way it is. That's not the way it is. You follow this, these sets, these rules, these laws, these limitations, these definitions. That's the way it is. And it's like, there's a little voice that says, you know what? No one can really tell me it, and yet they can too, because it's myself speaking to me. So everything that's ever happened or is happening is myself speaking to me. So in that sense, it can tell me the truth. It can tell me everything. It can tell me the secrets to existence. It can come through what appears to be another body, or through a book, or through a practice like yoga or meditation, or through a plant, through entheogens like psilocybin or ayahuasca or whatever. They're all neutral. They're all pointers. They're all symbols. They're all an invitation to say, this is who you are. This is what is real. This is truth. This is creation. This is how it works. And it's cool because then we can't screw it up. It can't be screwed up. How could it ever be screwed up? The answer is always there, and it's always coming through in everything. And yet, if I choose to see something as not me, then no, the answer can't come from outside. It has to come from inside. So life seems to be the meeting of those two because it is everything, because it's all experiences. And I choose the experience to give, and I love receiving money. Awesome. And I also love life even when it doesn't look like there's money coming in, because it's not the money that's the source. I love life. I love energy. I love God. I love love. I love you. I love you. I am you. You or me. We are God. God is a word. And the word has so often been used to symbolize something that is separate. Oh, there's a God out there. And this God is the one who tells you you have to be a winner or you have to be a loser. Or this God is the one that says you need to atone for your sins and become cleansed because you're guilty, because you're sinful, because you're bad. Whatever. There's so many different ways that this idea that has been given the word God has been used to symbolize separation. Well, what if God is just a word for all that is? And so everything is God. So I am God. You are God. Every body is God. Every animal is God. Every plant is God. Every planet is God. Every galaxy is God. Everything is God. So then what if the word we is just used to symbolize the interconnectedness of all? So I is not separate from you. And that's why I am you and you are me. Sure, we can choose to play with different costumes. It looks like I'm playing with what's generally considered a male costume. Does that mean I'm what's considered masculine and not feminine? No, masculine and feminine are words used to describe characteristics of this phenomena called life. We can call it yin and yang, masculine and feminine. We could use 2 symbols, 3 symbols, 4 symbols. We could use any number of symbols we want. It's all just for that purpose, to see where we're choosing it, where we're choosing to label, we're choosing to define, we're choosing to limit, we're choosing to say, Oh, well, it can be this or that, not this and that. Well, I choose to say it is this and that. And I choose to experience that it really is all interconnected. So we is just a word to symbolize the interconnectedness of everything. Well, when that's the case, we are God. How can it not be? How could it be anything else? If it were, then it's based on the idea of separation, that there could be a this and that aren't connected. Nothing wrong with this and that. It's like, and nothing wrong even with choosing to forget that this and that are connected. I choose to remember that this and that are connected. I choose to remember that this and that are choices. And I choose to accept that that's the choice I make. And I choose to accept that there'll be reflections of myself that choose a different choice. It'll say, no, that's not the case. This and that are not connected. Subject and object are split. And there needs to be that split for safety, or people could get hurt. I don't choose that. I accept that that's a choice that can be made and is being made. I just don't choose it. And I love you. I love you. How can I not? It's like, yeah, it just seems so... I know how I cannot. I just choose to not that. I choose to love. And yeah, and that's all I had to say about that.
For now.
Yeah, for now. Amen. Hallelujah. Good morning. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.